So in previous class we discussed about failure curve. As we discussed in the previous class, okay, failure rate will be high during the initial stages of a product. Okay, during the initial life of a product, the chance of occurrence of a failure is more, and after its useful life also, failure rate is high. Okay, so that we discussed in the previous class. During phase 1, that is during debugging, because of manufacturing error or design error, a product may fail. So chance failure is the failure that may happen during useful life of a product, and burnout. Burnout or wear out failure will occur after useful life of a product. Okay, these things we discussed in the previous class. In today's class, we are going to solve a problem based on failure, and before that, we are going to discuss about another curve, that is bathtub curve. Okay, so we discuss about that curve and some failures, some types of failures, and then we solve a problem. Okay, next, measure of reliability. The number of systems which fail in any incremental time delta t is proportional to number of survival denoted by ns at time t and the interval delta t itself. Thus, the number of survival or the number of failures in time interval delta t is given by this equation. Okay, so NF is number of failure, NS is number of survival, delta t is the time interval, and C is the failure rate. It is a constant value. Okay, so the number of failure in a time period delta t is directly proportional to number of survival and the failure rate. Okay, so if we consider any product, okay, if a company has manufactured 100 products, 100 units of a product, then capital N will be 100. Okay, so then after if you consider time interval from year to year, okay, this is the delta t from this point to this point. Okay, so after this delta t are at this point, okay, out of 100, if 10 fail, okay, then NF will be 10 and NS will be 90. Okay, 90 is the number of survival, NF is the number of failure, and capital N is the total number of products produced by a company. So here number of failure is proportional to number of survival in the time interval delta t. Okay, so this is the equation. In the language of differential calculus, the failure rate is given by, that means the same equation can be written as dnf by dt. Okay, instead of this delta symbol, here you have used d, and you have taken this delta t to the left hand side and it will come to denominator. Okay, you have rearranged equation 1 to get this one. Okay, so here instead of delta you are using d. So dnf by dt, so nothing but delta nf by delta t. Okay, so that can be written as dnf by dt. So on the right hand side you have cns. C is the failure rate, ns is the number of survival, where C is the failure rate per unit time per surviving items. Since number of survival, okay, if we add number of survival and number of failure, that will be equal to total number of products. As we discussed in the previous example, if there are 100 units of a product produced by a company or manufactured by a company, out of 100, if number of failures are 10, then obviously number of survival will be 90. If you add 90 plus 10, you will get the total number of products, that is 100. Okay, that's why you can write ns plus nf is equal to n. Okay, next, based on this, if you want to relate only ns and nf, then nf has to go to right side. Okay, if you want to keep ns on the left hand side, then nf has to go to right hand side. When it go to right hand side, it will become minus nf. Okay, so that's why, so by changing, you can make use of this equation. Okay, and you can write the same equation for NS. Okay, here there is NF. Instead of NF, you are using NS and you are making it as minus. The reason is the relation between NS and NF. You can relate it with a negative sign. Okay, since NS equal to, so if you want to relate to it to NF, it will become minus NF. Okay, so based on that, so we are writing equation 2 as dNS by dt is equal to minus CNS. Next, reliability for time t is measured by using this equation. So this is the reliability of the product after time t, that will be equal to number of survival after time t by total number of products. Okay, so we define reliability as probability of survival after its useful life. Okay, here we are considering a particular time that is denoted by t. Reliability of a product at time t will be equal to number of survival and total number of products. Okay, if there are 100 products and out of 100, if 90 are surviving, okay, what is the value of reliability? Okay, out of 100 after time t, if 90 are surviving, what about reliability? So in percentage, if you want to
90%.
So 90%. Okay, reliability of that product is 90%. Suppose if you want to tell the same thing in decimal, it will be 0.9. Okay. So integrating equation 3, that is this equation, and using the condition that there are a total of n systems at time t. That means before releasing a product into market, okay, if you consider products just manufactured, okay, so that can be considered as n, that is at time 0. So just come out of the machines, okay. So you have not tested for whether they are working or not. You have not done any tests, okay. Just products come out of the machine, okay, at that time. So you can consider n systems, okay, total number of systems or total number of products manufactured. Okay, so for that you can write it as, so n is t by n. Instead of reliability, so r of t, you can write it as e to the power minus ct. So this you are going to get by integrating this equation 3. Okay, so by integrating this one, so you are going to get this. Okay. So next, if you equate these two equations, so here r of t is equal to nst by n. Here it is nst by n is equal to e to the power minus ct. C is the failure rate and t is the time. So now you can equate r of t. You can write by considering these two equations, you can write it as r of t is equal to e power minus ct. Okay. Not worry much about this derivation. Okay, only thing is you have to remember some equations which are required to solve problem. Okay, that's enough. So next, this equation r of t is equal to e power minus ct is considered as reliability law. Okay, which states that reliability of a product or a system decreases exponentially as the time of operation increases. Okay, if you use any product, okay, if the period of usage of a product is more, then its reliability will be less. Okay, so that is stated by this law. Reliability of a product or a system decreases exponentially as the time of operation increases. Okay, so that is denoted by this curve. So the reliability again, in terms of decimals, if there is 100% reliability, that will be denoted by 1. Okay, 0 to 1 is the reliability scale. Okay, so initially the reliability is 1, that is 100%. As time passes, okay, you can see the reliability. So it will go on decreasing. Okay, you can consider the example of if you want to purchase a used car or second-hand car. Okay, so you know the value of new car and a second-hand car. Okay, even if the car has been used only for 6 months, the difference between new car and this a car used for 6 months, So there will be huge difference because used cars have less reliability compared to new cars. Okay, and again, when you go for buying a used car or used motorbike or used bicycle, so you will consider some of the aspects. One of the main aspect is, so what is the time period for which this particular product has been used? Okay, whether car has been used for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. ಯಾವ ಮಾಡಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು ಇಯರ್ ಯಾವುದು, ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಎಷ್ಟು ಓಡಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ give or you will consider a particular value. Okay, or you will price it. You will price a second hand product considering the time period. So that means if the time period is less, so that will be more reliable. If the time period is more, that will be less reliable. For the less reliable product, you are not at all ready to pay more. Okay, so that is stated by this law. If time period increases, reliability of the product will decrease, go on decreasing. Okay, next, bathtub curve. Okay, this is also similar to failure curve, but in failure curve we consider total number of products and a number of failures. Okay, but number of survival. Okay, so in failure curve we consider number of survival versus time, but in case of bathtub curve we are considering failure rate, that is C, that is denoted by C, per hour, failure rate per hour. Okay, so that means per hour how many will fail. Okay, so that is the failure rate. If you plot a curve by considering failure rate and time for most of the products, okay, so it will follow this pattern. Okay, it is a typical curve, it is applicable for most of the products. Okay, here also there are 3 zones: zone 1, zone 2 and zone 3. Zone 1 is debugging. Okay, so here there is more chance of failure rate is high in the debugging and burnout phase. Okay, whereas failure rate is less in operating life. Okay, so when operating life is nothing but it is a time period between when the product is released to the market after testing. Okay, debugging is it is going to take place inside the company, where companies are going to do testing. Okay, and they are going to do validation. Okay, so that is considered as debugging. Debugging occurs because of manufacturing defects and because of the design errors. Okay, so this failure in operating during operating life may occur because of various reasons. Okay, some can be identified and some may be because of unknown reasons also. This type of failures will occur. Okay, burnout failure because of wear out of the product, because of rapid usage or over usage of the product. This type of failure will takes place. Okay, so next, why it is called as bathtub. Okay, so if you have seen a bathtub, you can see its shape. Okay, if you consider this as the this is the position of the observer. If you look from front, from this direction, okay, then this is the front view. So this curve also takes the shape of this bathtub. Okay, that's why it is called as bathtub curve. The reason is, so the shape of this curve is similar to the shape of the bathtub. Okay, bathtub curve represents a variation of failure rate with time. So this on y-axis we will consider failure rate, on x-axis we will consider time. A high initial failure rate is because of manufacturing and design errors. A high final rate is because of wear out of various parts of the product. Okay, because of friction and other things, because of usage in general. Okay, a long period of low rate of failure because of chance failure, that is in zone 2. This curve is typical to most of the systems. Even when the components are produced with utmost care, the slope of the failure rate curve remains essentially the same but the curve will be closer to x-axis. Okay, if company is putting more effort to reduce the number of failures, okay, based on the observations made by many designers and many engineers, okay, the shape of this curve, failure curve, will remain same, but only difference is, so the position of this horizontal line, it will come down instead of here. So if a company is focusing more on enhancing quality and reducing the number of failure, okay, if for that case, the curve position may be like this. Okay, if the company is not at all worried about failure rate, then okay, so the failure curve for, or bottom curve for that company product may be like this. Okay, that is the only difference. Other than that, the pattern of failure will be same, almost same for most of the products. Okay, if focus is on quality and reducing the failures, so they may get curve like this. The position of the curve may be at the nearer to the x-axis. Okay, so this is the only difference. Next, we consider failure by using two terms. Okay, one is MTTF, another will be MTBF. MTTF means mean time to failure, and MTBF means mean time between failures. Okay, so you can consider two products. Okay, so if you consider bulb, okay, electric bulb, and if you consider a car, okay. So for electric bulb, which type of failure is applicable? Mean time between failures or mean time to failure for electric bulb? Okay, if the bulb fail, so do you buy a new bulb or do you go for repairing it?
New one.
So you will go for buying a new one. Okay, that means common sense is bulbs are non-repairable. Okay, there are some products which are non-repairable. That means if they fail, so you will throw them out, or you will get exchange. Okay, you can replace that with a new one. If there is a warranty period within 6 months or within 1 year, you can give that back and you can take a new one. But bulbs are non-repairable. Okay, so suppose if you can consider failure of a tire, okay, tire of the car. Okay, so you, on an average, you know the life of a car tire. Okay, so what is the life of a car tire? Hmm?
10,000 kilometers.
So it depends on the how many kilometers. Okay, so you have driven the car. Okay, and again consider puncture. Okay, so if there is a puncture, what you are going to do? You don't replace the tire and tube. Okay, so you will go to a puncture shop and you will get the job done. So after that also you will use the same tire and same tube. Okay, so mean time between failures is applicable for punctures. That means a puncture may, on an average, it may occur after 1 month, okay, after 2 months. So that means you are repairing and again you are using the product, okay, like tires. So mean time between failures is applicable for repairable products. Okay, in general, mean time between failure. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ರಿಪೇರಿ ಮಾಡಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಮತ್ತಿನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಅದೇ ಸೇಮ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅರೈಸ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಟೈಮ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಆನ್ ಆವರೇಜ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ನೋಟಿಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ವಿ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ changing the engine oil. Okay, so that is like mean time between failures. We know there is a possibility that engine oil may not work, okay, after 3 months or 6 months of its usage. Okay, or because of leakage there may be some loss in the amount of engine oil, okay, in the vehicle. So because of that, for every 3 months or every 6 months we will go on replacing the engine oil. So that is like mean time between failures. Whereas in case of electric bulbs, okay, once if it fails, so we will buy a new one. So for that, mean time to failure is applicable for non-repairable. Mean time between failure is applicable for repairable products. Okay. So mean time to failure, chance failure rates are sometimes expressed in terms of mean time to failure, which measures the average life. So why it is going to measure average life is, so it is applicable for non-repairable products. Okay, if it fails, the life of the product will end there itself. MTTF gives only the expected lifespan and not the actual lifespan of any given unit. The reason is, again, one bulb may work for 1 year, another bulb may work for 2 years, another electric bulb may work for 1.5 years. Okay, we don't get the actual life, but we can predict on an average, okay, what may be the expected life. A unit may fail much earlier than the mean time to failure or survive much beyond it. It is applicable only to non-repairable items. Next, MTTF is the reciprocal of failure rate in chance failure region. Okay, this is a very important point to solve a problem. Okay, so we can relate mean time to failure and failure rate, that is C. Okay, and they are related in a reciprocal. Okay, so MTTF is equal to 1 by C. MTTF means mean time to failure. C is the failure rate. And again, failure rate in the chance failure region. Chance failure region is means second phase. Okay, so this is the chance failure region. So this horizontal line, okay, almost horizontal line of the bathtub curve. Okay, this is the chance failure region. So in order to find MTTF, you have to consider this region in the bathtub curve. Next, mean time between failures. Mean time between failure is applicable to repairable products. If a product fails and is repaired and put back in service repeatedly, the average time between failures is the mean time between failure. Okay, next, there's a problem and you have to concentrate on the problems in this unit also. Okay, numericals in almost all units are important. Okay, quite often in the exam they will ask numericals. So the following data are collected in a burnout test with 500 high intensity electric bulbs. So after manufacturing bulbs, okay, company is testing to know the life of the bulbs. Okay, what might be the life of the bulb. In order to do that, so they are doing random sampling and they are picking 500 bulbs. Okay, and they are testing them. This is the data based on the test conducted by a bulb manufacturing company. So here time and number of survivors. So they are considering 500 bulbs. That means N, capital N, total number of bulbs will be equal to 500. That is at time 0. Okay. Next, after okay, so using the bulb for 1 hour. Okay, continuously bulb is in switched on position. Okay, it is working for 1 hour. Okay, when you switch on all the bulbs, all 500 bulbs, okay, after 1 hour, if you look at them, okay, out of 500, only 375 are working. Okay, so remaining have failed. Okay, that means during the time interval 0 to 1, or if you consider delta t as 1 hour, okay, so how many bulbs have failed during 1 hour? That is 0 to 1?
125.
125. Okay, next, Again, if you check after 2 hours, next again you have to consider the interval 1 to 2. Okay, how many have failed in the time interval between 1 to 2? Okay, 375 minus 317. Okay, what is the value? 58. Similarly, 2 to 3, you have to subtract this to 317 minus 282. 3 to 4, 288 minus 264. Similarly, 5 to 6, you have to subtract 241 with 220, that is 21, then 19. Okay. So next again you have to check. So again 19. Okay. So next it may be 16, then 5. Okay, like that. So you are considering the time interval and number of failures during that particular 1 hour. Okay, that you are considering, and also you have the value of number of survival. Okay, based on this you can plot a bathtub curve. Okay, so plot the variation of failure rate with time and obtain an estimate of mean time to failure for the random failure region. Random failure region is nothing but it is also known as chance failure region. Okay, so don't confuse with them. Chance failure region and random failure region both are same. Okay, so this is the given data in the problem. Okay, so they have given this data. Next, you have to plot bathtub curve. In order to plot bathtub curve, you need failure rate. You have to find out C. Okay, in order to find out C, we make use of equation 1. Okay, already we discussed about few equations. We are considering equation 1, that is number of failures after time period delta t. Okay, so if you consider a time interval delta t, so this delta nf is the number of failure after this time interval delta t. Okay, so that is given by c ns delta t. So now you can rearrange this equation for c, then this will become delta nf by ns delta t. Okay, so next you have to find average number of survivors during the interval 0 to 1. Okay, we know number of survivors at time period 0. We know number of survivors at time period 1. But what we have to find out is we have to find out the average number of survivors during the interval 0 to 1. Okay, that means we have to add 500 and 375, divide them with 2. Okay, 500 plus 375 by 2 will give you the average number of survivors during this time interval. Okay, 437.5 is the average number of survivors during time interval 0 to 1. Next, after finding this average number of survivors, nothing but ns. Okay, so we are using this value as ns. So next we can find out c for this time interval 0 to 1. Okay, c for time interval 0 to 1 is c is equal to 500 minus 375, nothing but number of failures in the time interval of 1 hour. Okay, we are considering delta t as 1 hour. Okay, so delta nf is nothing but number of failures in 1 hour. So that is from 0 to 1. That is given by 500 minus 375. Okay, delta nf value for 0 to 1 is 500 minus 375, that is 125 by, so ns is the number of survival 1 hour, that is in the time interval 1 hour. Okay, since delta t is 1, so you are considering ns. Okay, ns is 437.5. so if you divide 125 by 437.5, you will get the failure rate for the time interval 0 to 1. Okay, similarly you have to find failure rate for time interval 1 to 2. Same procedure you have to follow. Average number of survival during the interval 1 to 2. Okay, next again 375 plus 317, you will get 346. Then again substitute 346 for ns delta t, that is on the denominator you will get 346. Okay, and the numerator you will get 375 minus 370. Okay, like this you have to continue the procedure, and you have to find till 18 to 19, till this interval you have to find the values of c. Okay, so if you continue the same procedure, and if you find the values, okay, so you will get this. Next, this is given in the problem. This table you have to draw, so you have to write this table. Okay, so after finding failure rate for these intervals, okay, so 0 to 1, 1 to 2, so I have shown the procedure for 0 to 1 and 1 to 2. Similarly, you have to do the same thing for remaining intervals, that is 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, up to 18 to 19. Okay, you have to follow the same procedure, and you have to find failure rate of these intervals. Okay, after determining the failure rates, you have to plot the bathtub curve. Okay, so for plotting bathtub curve, look at the values. All the values are in the range of 0 to almost 0 to 1. Okay, so 0 to maximum value is 0.75. That means on the y-axis, if you have intervals of 0.1, okay, so that is suitable. Okay, based on the values of failure rate, so I have chosen the scale for y-axis. Okay, that is 0.1 interval I have chosen. Okay, so maximum value is 0.75. So I will end to 0.8. Okay, this is on the y-axis. On the x-axis, you have to consider the time. Okay, from 0 to 20. Okay, so I am considering 1 hour as 1 unit. Okay, so like this, you have to plot the graph. Okay, so I have plotted this graph on SolidWorks. Okay, so you can plot on the graph sheet. Okay, in the exam or while practicing, you can plot this on the graph sheet, or even by using scale also you can plot this graph, no problem. Okay, so okay, so initially so you can plot like this. Okay, first choose proper scale. Okay, so and 0 to 20 on the x-axis, and 0 to 0.8 on the y-axis. Okay, then consider the values. You have these values. Okay, so 0 to 1 you have 0.286, then 0.168, 0.098. Like this you have values. Okay, so consider these values and plot the graph. Okay, so like this you can mark the points. Okay, for 0 to 1, the value of C is 0.286. Okay, I have marked 0.286 here. Okay, then between 1 to 2, again on the x-axis you have to consider 0.5. Okay, so you have to consider the middle point, midpoint of 0 to 1. Okay, on the x-axis you have to consider the midpoint of 0 to 1, and on the y-axis the value of C, that is 0.286. You will get this point. Okay, next for the range 1 to 2, the value is 0.168. Okay, you have to consider the mid of 1 to 2 on the x-axis, and on the y-axis 0.168. You will get this point. Okay, similarly 2 to 3, the value is 0.098. Okay, so for that value, so you have to mark the point 0. It is 0.098. Okay, almost nearer to 0.1. Okay, so next you have between 3 to 4. Okay, it is 0.088. Okay, again you have to consider mid of 0.4 on the x-axis, and on the y-axis you have to consider 0.088. Next 0.091, next 0.091, like that. This almost these values are nearer to 0.09. Okay, so that's why you can see the pattern. Okay, so after plotting all the points by considering these values of failure rate, that is these values. Okay, and the ranges on the x-axis, so you will get points like this. Okay, so after this, so you have to connect the points. By freehand you can draw the curve. Okay, go on connecting all the points. Okay, so after connecting all the points, next thing is, so you cannot consider the entire curve. Okay, in order to find out mean time to failure, already if you look into the points we discussed in mean time to failure. Okay, so mean time to failure is the reciprocal of failure rate in chance failure region. Okay, you have to consider only the chance failure region. Okay, so there's a spelling mistake. So this is chance failure region. Okay. So you have to consider only the chance failure region. So next task is, so you have to find out the chance failure region. Okay, where the curve is almost approaching the horizontal line. Okay, from where to where you can consider as a chance failure region. So elinda horizontal line is almost
between 3.3 to 3.4 to 10.9, 10.11.
10.11. Okay, so here if you look at this curve, okay, so from 2 to 3, okay, so here you can consider this point from 2 to 3. Okay, it is almost not exactly horizontal, it is almost horizontal. Okay, the curve is approaching the horizontal. Okay, so from 2 to 3, that is from this point, from till 13 to 14. Okay, so there is slight deviation. Okay, so we are not considering slight deviation, but so after 13 to 14, after 14 you can see the spike. Okay, so in the curve before this also you can see. Okay, so there's more deviation. Okay, we can consider between 2 to 14. Okay, we'll consider between 2 to 14. Or we can consider this point, this one and this. Okay, so I will draw vertical lines. Okay. So here from this point to this point, this is the random failure region or chance failure region. Okay. Next, so I have to find out average failure rate. In order to find out mean time to failure, I have to find out average failure rate. In order to find out average failure rate, I will consider only the failure rate from 2 to 14. Only these values from this point to this. Okay, that means from time interval 2 to 3 to 13 to 14. I will consider only these values to find average failure rate in the chance failure region, because this is the chance failure region. Okay, from year to year, this is phase 1, that is debugging. From this point to this, okay, so this is the wear out region or burnout region. This is phase 3 and this is phase 1. I have to consider only the phase 2, that is from this to this. Okay, that is from year to year. This is the random failure region. Next, so the random failure region can be identified between second and 14th period, because the failure rate C is fairly constant between these two. Okay, if you look at the values, okay, so 2 to 3 also, it is nearer to 0.9. Okay, so there is a difference of only 0.008. Okay, so next, if you take 0.09 as reference, okay, all these values are nearer to that. Okay, so then if you consider 14 to 15, there is a lot of difference, that is 0.154. Okay, so that's why I am going to consider from 2 to 3 to 13 to 14. Okay, so I will add only these values starting from 2 to 3, that is 0.098, then 0.088, 0.091, 0.091, then 0.090, next these values. Okay, and till 0.082. Okay, so totally I have considered 12 intervals. Okay, 3, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so I am taking the average of this. So that is 0.09208. So this is the average failure rate in the chance failure region or random failure region. Okay, so by considering this, so I will get the answer as 10.86 hours mean time to failure. Okay, so by doing this calculation, okay, what does this 10.86 hours represent, or from this value what conclusion the bulb manufacturing company can draw? What does this indicate, this 10.86 hours life? Okay, that means whatever bulbs they are manufacturing, okay, if they want to sell it to customers, they can say okay, you can use this bulb for 10 hours, or if they want to play a safe game, they can fix that assured life of the bulb as 9 hours. They can fix any value less than this. Okay, if they fix more than this, problem will be for the company. The reason is bulbs, the chances of bulbs getting failure after 10 hours is more. Then the company, the image of the company, okay, may deteriorate, and the product may become unreliable. Okay, because of that, based on these calculations, company can fix the expected life of the product. Okay, so that should fix below this value. Okay, it depends. If it fixed to 5 hours, the product will become more reliable, but the problem is whether people are ready to buy any bulb to use only for 5 hours. Okay, that is another consideration. Based on that, the company can make a decision. Overall, what we can understand is, by calculating mean time to failure, companies can decide the life of a product. Okay. So there is another topic related to unit 6